first question, if you could just tell us a little bit more about yourself, if you could say your name, pronouns, major, and just talk about what you've been involved in at Gonzaga.
So my name's Daniel Weinberger. I go by he, him, his, I guess. And I am kind of a jack of all trades when it comes to stuff I like to do and stuff I like to get involved with. First and foremost, one of the first things I did when I came to Gonzaga's campus was join Alpha Kappa Psi, which is the on-campus co-ed business fraternity. And something that really drew me to that was a couple things. The biggest was kind of just immersing myself in college. I didn't do much first semester, kind of getting myself acclimated. And I was able to kind of test the waters with my friends in terms of seeing what they did and what they enjoyed. A lot of my friends ended up joining this Alpha Kappa Psi, the co-ed business fraternity, and said they loved it. And when I asked them what one of the reasons, or a couple of the reasons, I guess, they said they loved it was the community and the people. And I just thought that was awesome, that the first answer wasn't business. The first answer wasn't connections, wasn't alumni. It was the people. And so that really drew me to it. And as I started to rush the organization and ended up becoming involved in it over the years, I still hold that answer to this day. And I think it's something that's really cool about not only Alpha Kappa Psi, but GU as a whole, but it's just a more intimate community inside of an already intimate community. And as the years went on, I still love Alpha Kappa Psi. I still am super involved in it. But I wanted to kind of reach my hand into something new. I kind of wanted to reach out to a different group of people I might not know or I might not engage with on a daily basis. And that's kind of what brought me here to GSBA. So while I love Alpha Kappa Psi, and I've been involved in it for about 3 years now, coming on 4 next year, I definitely am excited to try something new. And I'm excited to engage with the GU community as a whole.
Thank you so much, Dan. Next question is, why did you choose to run for treasurer specifically, and what unique experiences do you have that qualifies you for this position, and how you will exceed in this position?
So a couple things, actually. A few people in GSBA over the years have been trying to get me to get involved with it. And due to just time restriction, work, school, etc., it never really was, I was never able to confidently say I could give it my all. Some people I think of right off the bat, Ryan Newen, Kiz Altienza, Charlotte Driscoll, just people like that who have, through the years encouraged me to come out and try for a position. So that's kind of what initially sparked my interest in GSBA. And then as time went on and the election process began, Charlotte Driscoll is a name that always rings in my head about this. She came to me and she had said to me, Daniel, there's positions opening up, treasurer in particular, and she's like, you would, be great. You should really look into it. So I had looked into it for a little bit, and then Gifty, actually, you also came to me and said, hey, this is a position that I think you'd be interested in. And I looked at it some more, and, I kind of realized at the end of the day, it is a really interesting position. And the reason I kind of say that is because I've had some really great, unique experience in this field already. So I've had a couple internships here and there throughout my college career. My first one was working for a private equity firm in Arizona, back at Scottsdale, Arizona. And I got to really see a unique insight of the private equity side of financing. And while it's a very niche field in financing, it teaches you a lot of disciplines that are not unique just to that, but rather unique to the whole entire field. So I got some really cool exposure in that sense. I got to see how funds are, collected, fundraised, allocated, and used essentially to better the organization or to fund things, necessary costs, things like that. Moving forward, coming here to Gonzaga, I kind of wanted to do a similar type of work, similar type of field in finance, but not private equity. I thought that was a little bit too niche, too narrow. So I ended up working at this distribution company downtown here in Spokane. It's a local family-owned business. And I worked as their in their accounting department as an accounting intern. Now, I've worked for this company for about a year now. I had a 3-month break as I went abroad. But in the time that I've been able to work for this company, I've seen a really, really, I would say, unique exposure into not only just how a small business operates and the financing of that, but also on a larger scale. While this is a small family-owned business, it actually does quite a bit in revenues. I'd say probably around 50 million in revenues a year. And so I was able to, get a really unique insight and exposure into the field of financing and accounting through this small family business. And I adore the family business. I adore the owners. I adore the people I work with. And I'm still working for them today. So it is a testament of it. Even though it's a work from home thing, we still get up and go to work in the morning. And most of the employees do, I should say. But and so just these two work experiences in the field of accounting and finance and private equity have really given me the ability to look at something that someone my age might not look at and have the same perspective about. And it's really given me the ability to be organized, have good due diligence, and really be keen on and focused in, what to look at, what to observe, and what to continue to look at and observe when you're managing a lot of funds and, invoicing and receiving and stuff like that. And that whole experience, all of that is exactly what I plan to do and implement here in the role of treasurer should I be elected.
Thank you so much. Your experience is fantastic. Now, using that experience, what is something you will do uniquely with your platform if given the chance to be treasurer? And what is something unique that you want to do with that platform with the student body?
So something that I think anybody can say about me who's ever met me or spent more than 2 minutes with me is that I love engaging in innovation. And what that kind of means for me is I love new ideas. So I am rarely ever one to shut down a new idea. In fact, when I hear ideas, the crazier the better for me. And not just crazier in the sense of implausibility, but crazier meaning, things that I haven't ever thought of before, things that maybe other people haven't thought of before. So my platform is kind of that. And I know I mentioned my mission statement and out in my advertisements coming out today, but I am all about understanding, researching, coming to know, discovering the diverse needs of the Gonzaga community. And so when I talk about crazy ideas in that sense, it's not so much crazy ideas, but more diversified ideas. So for me, when it comes to, managing, allocating, fundraising funds, all the roles that the treasurer gets to do, that for me means being able to do all of that, do all of my responsibilities, while also engaging in new ideas, engaging in new funding opportunities, being able to get creative with this role that not only is good for, a majority of, let's say, the Gonzaga student population, but also, for the small minorities on campus that, want to try new things, want to do new things, want to explore new possibilities, things like that. And as my role as treasurer, that's kind of what I'm platforming on. That's kind of what I'm running on. It's that desire and ability to, do new things. And, that's a little bit restricted with treasurer. And I know that because it's more of a money role, but in the grand scheme of things, it's really not. And as a member, as one of, the top members of GSBA, I really hope to encourage and inspire students to come to us with those ideas or that kind of things, or seek that funding and be able to come to me and, know that they will be heard.
Great, thank you. So for our last question is just to ask, so much of your duties involve holding various teams in GSBA accountable for their hours and their budget. So you've already talked about some of your experiences, but if you could just describe specifically your experiences with organization and accountability and what skills you have in that.
So as I kind of mentioned before, I've interned twice for two of those, financial roles. And in both of those roles, I would not say that my job was autonomous or that, I had free reign. In fact, it was quite the opposite. Both of these companies that I've worked for in the past 2 years, both kind of held, I wouldn't say, a tight grip around my neck, but I was definitely looked after. Especially, and I want to kind of reference my accounting role here that I'm currently in. Accounting is not something that you can, I would say, fudge. It's not something that you can be off a little. It's something that's pretty rigid. And, you really have to do your due diligence and concentrate and focus on the small details to get the job done. I don't know, for anybody who doesn't do accounting, or even those who do accounting, when you balance something or when you reconcile something, the numbers have to match. And so when they don't match, it's your job to find why they don't match. And so I've had some really great experience in kind of coming to terms with the fact that maybe I'm not the most detail-oriented person. And so I have to be a little bit more careful with it. So when it comes to my experience with accountability and, ensuring that people stay on budget, on time, and, holding people accountable, I would say that I have a good amount of experience in it. Not only holding someone accountable, but also being held accountable. And I think you get the most experience of that through someone holding you accountable. And so I definitely think I've got a good experience with that. And I definitely think that through this role, I'll be able to use that experience to, further my ability to do so.
All right, great. Thank you. Those are all of our questions. Great job.
Awesome. Thank you guys so much. And thank you guys for all the hard work. I know this is quite a wrench in this process for you guys.
Yeah.
And you guys are doing
Oh, yeah, no worries.
Time and a half. It really